Tell me, Mr. Evers, do you believe in ghosts? Hi lovely people! It's spooky season, so you know what that means? Time to make a spooky dress. This video is in collaboration with Lady Rebecca Fashions and Stephanie Canada for grimgrinninggarb. It is based on Haunted Mansion, which I have a little confession to make. I have never seen Haunted Mansion. I've also never been to Disneyland, so I have never been on the Haunted Mansion ride, but I really wanted to join in. The other little issue was that in the UK, licensed fabric isn't as much of a thing. And I looked online, I looked in local fabric shops, and I could not find any Haunted Mansion themed fabric. But what I did find was some Nightmare Before Christmas fabric. And I did some research, and it looks like Jack Skellington and Sally are both featured in the Haunted Mansion ride at Disney. Therefore, I feel I can make it fit. For the dress, I am thinking something with a flared skirt and quite nice and fitted on top. Long sleeve because we are getting a little bit colder now. I'm thinking something kind of Wednesday Addams-ish with a nice like white collar and stuff. I think that will look quite nice. I have made myself a pattern using my block, and it's collared, button down the front, and then flared skirt. How flared the skirt will be will depend entirely on how much fabric I have left after cutting out the bodice. So without further ado, let's get cracking. We have just about managed to fit an A-line skirt pattern on there. We do also, here and here, have spare material for pockets. Can't forget the pockets. I cut out all my pattern pieces. No, I didn't iron the fabric first, but I didn't have the spoons. But I promise you I ironed each piece after I had cut it out. I then sewed all of my darts, which I'm only putting in the front, and then I overlocked all the bits that needed overlocking, encasing the little darts in the overlocking. I have left the very front and the neck hole unoverlocked. That is because the front bit is going to have a foldy over. It's going to be like a proper button placket, but it's not going to be properly functional. Having it undone all the way isn't actually going to help me get it on and off. I'm going to have a zip on the side. I am also going to have a white collar and white cuffs, but I have realised that I messed up. I forgot to include room for an overlap and buttons to go on the cuff pieces, so it's a little bit useless having a cuff piece that you can't actually get your hand through, so I need to recut that pattern piece. The other thing is, usually at this point I would insert pockets. I'm going to be able to insert the pockets on one side, but I'm going to have to wait to do them on the side with the zip, just because that's going to be a bit more complicated. I'm kind of winging it and don't know exactly what I'm doing, so for proper instructions there is a card here or here, I think it's that side, for Lady Rebecca Fashion's video on how to insert a pocket on a side where there's a zip. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do, plan of action, is I am going to sew down the button placket thing so that everything is kind of all the right size to fit together. And then I am going to do the side with the pocket, and I'm going to redraw that pattern piece. I also at some point really need to redo my nails because these have grown out so much. They're barely hanging on. So at some point in the near future in this video, you will also see me with new nails. I pressed in a 1/2 inch for seam allowance and then another inch for the button placket. This was then stitched down. The following is a dramatisation. The part of Casca will be played by Fantastical Follies costuming. I realised that I'd made a mistake cutting out my cuff pattern, so I needed to get out the cutting board to make a new one. After getting out the cutting board, I realised that it had curved round, so that obviously needed to be straightened out before I could use it effectively. I put the board on the floor and started bending it. That's when it happened. The board slipped out of my hands and hit my knee. I was in shock. I didn't know what had happened, and that's when the pain hit me. I haven't felt anything like it since I last caught my elbow on the door. It's left me with a slight bruise and a bit of a line across my knee. It hurts a bit when I touch it, but I think I can carry on. Right, it's actually a little while later, because things came up, as they often do. I've missed Halloween, which is sad. I did really want to get stuff out for Halloween, but it can't be helped. I did have a chance to do my nails. This is my first time trying to do like a fade with polygel, and it's not perfect, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Also, the knee, it's okay. It's fine. It literally, I've just got a line. It didn't happen exactly as the video portrayed, but I just thought that was so much funnier. So yeah, I've literally just got a little like purple line and that's it. There was a little bit of a bruise, but that's all. Anyway, back to the project. Last time I filmed something, I was doing the front panels, which I've got the little button plaquette bit. That is all sorted. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to stitch up the shoulder seams, and then I can insert the sleeves, because I prefer doing sleeves where you sew along the shoulder and then you go down the arm and then down the side seam. So I'm going to do that. I also need to insert one pocket on the side that's not got a zip. That's pretty easy. And then I will tackle the side that does have a zip a little bit later. I do not currently have the brain power for that. So yeah, I'll get the simple stuff done. Okay, so I've just got out of the shower, hair's sopping wet, but we're going to ignore that. We are also going to ignore the howling wind. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it picking up on the mic or not, but we've currently got an amber weather warning for wind, and I looked it up and apparently we're at around 60 miles an hour, and I've got to go out in it later. Wonderful. But I thought I'd show you where I am up to with the dress, because I actually got quite a lot done last night, mainly out of spite, because it was being very, very noisy. Telly on full blast. So I was like, you know what? I don't care if it's midnight, I'm going to sew. And so I did. So I got the collar sewn on. I have just got to iron seam allowance under and then hand stitch that along the inside. I got sleeves on just around the kind of sleeve head area, so this needs to be sewn down the arm and then down the rest of the dress. I did little buttonholes there, and I have sewn the top bit to the bottom bit on the front and the back. The back has got a little bit of ruching on. I want it to be kind of, you know, like when you've got a shirt tucked into a skirt and it kind of billows out a little bit at the back. I want it to be kind of like that. So I've done the back bodice section a little bit bigger. This is also going to have elastic going through it here as well, purely because I want it to be adjustable. I feel like I'm probably at my biggest at the moment. I don't think I'm going to get any bigger than this. And it's because things. The plan ideally would be to get back to my kind of ideal, which is like a size 12 and like sort of, I think that's around a 30, like 29, 30 waist. So I want to make the dress so that at its loosest, with the elastic not pulled at all, it's at around 29. But then it'll stretch up to like a 33. That way, when my weight is fluctuating, I can still wear it and it'll still be fine. Things that I have to do now, other than the side seam arm bit, I need to attach the pockets. So when I sew that, obviously it will be inside out, not like this. It will be sewing and then around the pocket on that side. And then on the other side there is the zip. Watching Lady Rebecca Fashion's video, she was dealing with like loads and loads and loads of layers. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, I've got the pocket on the front part of the skirt panel. And then I'm going to work out distance-wise whereabouts the pocket needs to go on the zip, and then I'm going to fold under the seam allowance and top stitch that on along the zip. Then when I go to actually fit the zip, I can just do my usual thing of folding over the seam allowance and top stitching the rest, and then just leaving the gap where the zip is, and it should work. Fingers crossed. I feel like I was making it very complicated for myself in my head before, but thinking about it, if I just treat it like it's a regular zip, I should be okay. Then all I need to do is cuffs, buttons and hem. So fingers crossed I will get this finished either today or tomorrow. Okay, so I've got my pocket attached to the zip, well, one half of my pocket attached to zip, and then I've got the other half of the pocket attached to the side of the dress, and then the other side of the dress here. So what I need to do is I need to sew around here, sew the zip the rest of the way along here, and then I can attach the zip to this side. That way, hopefully, fingers crossed, I will have a zip up side with a functioning pocket. After attaching the zip, I hemmed the dress while I still had black thread in the machine. I then did the cuffs. I stitched around the shorter side and then clipped my edges. I left the seam allowance a little bit bigger on the button side just to give it a bit of added strength. I also added some interfacing. am so unbelievably pleased with how this has turned out. This is definitely going to be in my regular wardrobe rotation. I absolutely love it. In fact, I have got theatre stuff tomorrow and I'm going to wear it to that because I love it so much. It feels really comfortable. I feel like the fit is really flattering. Ideally, I would have liked a fuller skirt, but I did what I could with the fabric that I had, and I do still think that the A-line looks really nice. I love that it's adjustable. I feel like maybe the elastic I used could have been a little bit stronger and pulled it in a little bit more, but it fits really nicely for now, and if in the future I need to adjust it, I could always unpick that and put in a stronger elastic to bring it in more. Many of you voted on Instagram on what button I should use for this top one, and the little plain white flower one won out. Only just by the time that I am doing this. The one that was the close second was the sort of iridescent one, so I will keep checking back periodically, and if it turns out that loads of you prefer the more kind of iridescent looking one, then I can always change it out. The fabric I'm in love with. I love this colour, it's super pretty. The print on it is there, but it's like, in order to know that it's a sort of spooky Halloween dress, you'd have to be like really close to me, which, as I've said previously in videos, if you are that close to me, then you're too close. And like I've said as well, yes, the theme was Haunted Mansion, but Jack Skellington is on the Haunted Mansion holiday ride, so it counts. I would again like to say a big thank you to Stephanie Canada and Lady Rebecca Fashions for hosting this grimgrinninggarb challenge, not a challenge, collaboration. That is the word we are looking for. I know I'm super late with it, but I hope you enjoy my contribution. As I've kind of alluded to, videos on my channel will be kind of slowing down, maybe kind of one a month sort of thing, just for a bit while I sort out some stuff that's going on in the background. Fingers crossed in the long run it will be good stuff, but at the moment it's like pulling your hair out kind of stuff. But yeah, I am definitely going to have a Christmas video. That is on my priority list. I'm going to make sure I have a Christmas video, and I have got something in mind which I hope will be fun. And it's something that I'm going to be able to kind of take the month to work on and just take my time over it and try not to stress thinking, I've got to have a video out sort of thing. I'd also like to give a big thank you to Fantastical Follies Costuming for helping me out with that very silly part of this video. She did rush to get that bit filmed for me and the video ended up being late, so sorry. But I do appreciate it, thank you. If you are not following Fantastical Follies Costuming, link is in the description, go follow her, her videos are awesome. As well as Stephanie Canada and Lady Rebecca Fashions, who I imagine most of you are probably following already, but if you are not, go and follow them. If you would like to support the channel and help me out with things like buying fabric and notions and stuff like that for projects, I do have a Ko-fi account. People who have supported me on Ko-fi will see their names appearing here. It's all very much appreciated. Your contributions go directly into helping out with this channel, so thank you very much to everybody who has supported me so far. That is it for this video. Doing all the YouTubey things will be very much appreciated as well. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell so you'll be notified next time I upload a video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!